Julian o Julian, ¿cómo crees que te llame en inglés o en español?
Como quieras, sí,
No,
para
su
ser en
nombre.
inglés, Julian.
Julian. We are again in a new podcast of My Energy Game, and this time we've got Julian Speroni. How are you, Julian?
Good. Yeah, thank you.
Obviously, I mean, for those who don't know Julian, which I'll be surprised if you don't know Julian, but for those who don't know Julian, Julian is pretty much an icon in Crystal Palace. A good friend of ours says, actually, funny enough, says that you are the Totti of Crystal Palace.
That's very kind. That's very kind.
So how many years did you play for Crystal Palace? How many seasons?
15 years. Yeah.
15 years.
seasons for the club, yeah.
15 seasons for the club. Obviously now helping a little bit with the under 23s at times, and obviously trying to get your coaching badges and trying to stay obviously in the game in a different capacity. So excited about it?
Yeah, just adjusting from the big change from being a player to become a coach, you know, and it's exciting. It's I'm learning a lot by helping a bit with under 18s and under 23s and also of course doing the coaching badges. So yeah, really exciting times.
Well, thank you so much for obviously accepting the invite. As we were talking earlier, our podcasts are very short, on 20-25 minutes, and we focus normally on one topic. And obviously My Energy Game is all about trying to help coaches and players balance their energy and mental training and preparation on and off the pitch, but not so much about the tactics, but more about how you can kind of like develop yourself and grow as a person to then have a better chance to perform. And we chose this topic, which I'm very keen on it, which is football ups and downs. Okay, which I mean we could say life ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
But let's keep it into football. So in the journey of obviously football, we were discussing earlier that balance is key. Okay, so Julian, how to keep that balance? How do you keep balance in football throughout a season?
I think it's important to have your convictions very clear, because if you when you go through good times, it becomes easier because results are going your way and things, people is happy in the changing room. But when things are not going that well, then is when more problems can appear. So it's key for me to keep that balance, find that balance that you mentioned before. In terms of if we have a view how we want to play the game, then all of a sudden we lose a game or have a period of games where we're not winning or we're not getting the results we want, then I don't think there is any point of rushing into making decisions that are not going to help the team, and decisions that, for instance, change our whole philosophy of how we planning to play the game, and because those things, we're human beings, players, they're always in the spotlight, but people don't see that we have families behind and we have friends and we have our characters, and for the coaches it's important to have a clear picture of where we're gonna go, what's our target, what's the way we're gonna play, and stick to that in good times and bad times. Of course, you can change things. You can change tactically. You can change different things. But I mean, the main way or the main philosophy of how we play and how we approach the games shouldn't be changed dramatically just because of an up or a down.
So actually, listening to you, it sounds to me like to keep the balance. Actually, you need to stay in balance.
Yeah.
So rather than just be very dramatic and trying to change everything every minute, is actually having that balance within yourself.
Yeah.
Which it goes quite hands in hand to what we are trying to achieve with this project, which is kind of like exactly that. Trying to find balance with yourself as a player, as a person, because probably then you'll have a better chance to be authentic. And am I wrong to say that that's kind of one of the key factors to keep balance, to always be authentic and always kind of like trying to really find who you are and stay in that kind of level?
Of course, I think so, and also having a clear view or clear vision of where you're going to go or what you want to achieve. In personal terms, as a player, you can say, okay, I want to improve. I know I had to improve certain areas of my game, and then focus on that. And as a coach, okay, this is the way I want my team to perform, and have the vision for that, and stick to the plan to achieve that in the future. But if you keep changing things drastically just because of a result, then I think I was struggling to believe that you eventually will get to that point, because to have that vision, I'm pretty sure we all have a plan. We all have studied the situation beforehand, and we have a reason why we want to play that way, and we have a reason and a belief that that is the right way for me to actually play, and then also being realistic to where you are as a coach, the players you have, as a player, what is my limitation? Can I get better in this? Can I do things differently? And then find that balance that is important to have a kind of a settled position where you can actually have the foundations to then being able to improve.
So obviously, let's discuss in terms of what to do in moments of ups. I mean, what would you do?
Sorry. Sorry.
So in terms of what to do in moments of up. So when, let's say that the team is playing very well, we're winning 5 games in a row, or having 5 good terms in terms of not being beaten, or So it's a good month and a half in the competition, in the season. So we consider that as an up. It's a good moment. It's a moment of high.
Yeah, of course.
What to do then? What do you do as a player, as a team, as a coach? What do you do in the dressing room? How do you feel?
Yeah, I will make sure that everybody knows that we're talking about that vision before. That everybody knows that we are on a journey.
Okay.
So we know that, especially if things happen, halfway through the season, and
sure.
So make sure that we know there yet. So we are on a journey, and we all need to. When things go well, that means that things are, we're improving, we're getting results, and try to stick to that. Don't let anybody think, we've done it now, and we're good, and no. There's always ways so you can carry on improving, because the opposition will.
Sure.
So it's very easy to actually go on a good run, and then all of a sudden you just stay there, and then what happens is you're not getting any worse, but the opposition might improve. And also, especially in this modern age where everybody knows everything about everybody else, so everything gets scrutinized, and every team analyzes every single detail of the opposition they're gonna play the weekend. So it's important to carry on improving things, details. Try to get into the details, set pieces, and
some people say the 1%. Is that what you mean? Like those 1%, that those tiny things. So again, going back to what you said, not dramatic changes, but those 1%, so you carry on improving.
Yeah, of course. I mean, 1% each player will give you a 10%,
sure,
11% eventually. So it's very important, and it works the other way. When the downs.
I was going to ask you that. So what happens when you're in a down then?
Same thing. You need to analyze why is that happening. Is the opposition getting better, or they are picking up? What we're trying to do, and are we getting a bit complacent? Is the word?
Yes. Right.
Say. So I try to analyze why, but we still have that vision.
Sure.
We still have. We know where we're gonna go, and we know how we're gonna play, and what we want from our players, what we want from our team. And stick to that. As I said, you can always change tactics. You can always analyze the position you're gonna play against and things like that, which is completely right. And we all do it. I'm not a coach. I'm not a manager yet, but
you will.
I'm sure I will. And I'm sure I will have my ideas, and which I do. I have my ideas of how I want to play and how I want my team to perform. And then try to keep that balance again. Find that balance where we don't look desperate because just of a result, because also you need to analyze why you lost the game. So did we dominate the game and then we ended up losing with a penalty in the last minute? Or we just we got beaten badly. So there's a lot of factors that can come into play where it comes to making decisions like that. But I always find when you have a manager or a coach that is pretty solid and pretty balanced on good times and bad times, players pick up on that, and the players always feel, or I did as a player, you feel more. You trust that person more.
It's funny you say that. Now we might go a little bit off track here, but I want to pick on that. Are you saying that in a way players do pick up on the energy of the manager or the staff? And are you saying that then there is an energy in the changing room provided by the people that belong to the changing room?
Oh, 100%. The players are clever, they're intelligent people, so they will realize straight away when a manager comes into the changing room and says something, and they will remember what he said. And if you change it every week, then they'll say, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? He said this a couple of weeks ago, and now he's saying something completely different. So where is he? Where is it? Where he stands for? And so players will realize that. So if you can't gain that trust from the players, it'll be hard to get success really with that group of players.
So it's quite cool because then, in a way, we were going to jump into a few key factors of things that you can control. What we say the controllables. So in a way, you're kind of saying that, right? That the manager can actually control certain things in the dressing room by controlling himself, but by having some discipline and by having being a bit balanced. Because if he's not balanced himself and he doesn't have the right discipline himself, probably that's going to be obviously wrapped into the players. But before we go into that, come on, you've played 15 years for Crystal Palace. You must have a story or an anecdote related to this kind of thing. Do you remember of any moment where the team was going through an up or a down and something happened that actually changed the dynamic?
Yeah, several times. I remember one in particular. We have Sam Allardyce as a manager. I remember he took us, and I'm not a big fan of going on away trips and stuff like that.
Fair play.
But in this particular case, I think we were obviously, fighting, trying not to get relegated, and in that it's tough, really tough. Bottom of the table. And getting the results you want, and he took us all the way to Morocco, I think it was.
Okay.
For the weekend. I think it was 3 days. So we had a weekend off, and we were all together there. We trained a little bit, but no, that wasn't the main focus of going away. The main focus was being all together, having dinner together, and spend time with each other. Talk about things, not necessarily football, but talk about life in general, our families and stuff, and getting closer to each other. We had a few new players as well, and and even for me, which I'm not a big fan, as I said, I'm not a big fan of going away. I always miss the family and stuff.
I know. I've got to know you now, and you are a very family person, and
Yes, and I remember coming back from that trip thinking, we have a great group of guys here, and then you start to, I don't know, it's a mental thing, but then you feel closer to your teammate, and we, funny enough, we started to pick up some very good points after that. So who knows? It's probably a mental thing, but it works sometimes, and that's a key. I mean, the manager plays a key role in that, picking up those moments, realizing when that's needed, and when the players maybe need to be away from each other.
Yes,
because even though this is the kind of things that is not necessarily like the day-to-day thing, but sometimes because we do spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, we do.
Because we train every day.
Yes.
Sometimes you can feel, okay, wait a minute, maybe they don't need this. Maybe they need to actually have a few days off, so they can go away, spend time with their families, and come back, fully recharged.
So basically, I mean, going through this conversation, would you say, and again, that might be a little bit off track again, but I
Yeah,
don't
go
mind. I
for it,
mean,
go for it.
we did say that we were going to have a really cool conversation.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the leaders, so not necessarily just the manager, it could be also obviously anyone, any staff member, it could be a few of the key players in the club, like yourself, who obviously had been there for so long and was one of the leaders of the changing room and perhaps had the possibility to go to the gaffer and say, listen, why don't you do this or that, or I can feel this or that. Are we saying that these leaders or these people in the changing room have to pick up the energy, have to pick up those messages, and then have to come up with a plan that might be completely away from football, might be completely away from changing it from 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3, and it's actually more about team cohesion, it's more about understanding people, it's more about creating an energy in the changing room.
Definitely. I mean, that is more important sometimes than we can actually teach a player, because at that level, when you became a Premier League footballer or first team footballer, then the managers, you should, by then you learn your game. You know, you are a footballer already. Yes, you learn tactics and you understand different things related to the game, but they're not gonna teach you how to play the game. I'm not gonna go and teach, as a coach, just to put a name, like Wilfred Zaha, how to dribble.
Yes.
Because he has that already in him. I mean, I'm not gonna go and teach him, you have to do this and that. That is on him already, in him already. So it's about managing characters. Sometimes it's more important that you manage those egos sometimes. Premier League footballers, you can find big egos on a team.
Sure.
And how are you gonna cope with that? Are you strong enough to actually be able to control that? And if you have people, not just a coach, sometimes it could be your captain, could be other members of the team that can pick up on that and say, listen, Gaffer, I think we could do with so and so, and then you make the decision as a coach, as a manager. You make the decision then, and then think, okay, maybe they have a point here. Maybe we can do things differently, or maybe we can go away this weekend, or maybe have a few days off, and I think sometimes you get more benefit from that than doing other things that are not going to give you any extras.
So obviously I wanted to take this conversation a little bit into how to kind of like control the controllables, right? To try, I mean, I don't think, this is my belief, and obviously, you tell me if you disagree, but you can't really change the journey. I mean, you will have ups and you will have downs, and that's how it is. I mean, that's football, that's life, that's in general. Now, so, however, you can probably control the controllables, so the up doesn't take you down immediately, or that the down doesn't get you to so down that you don't have a chance to recover. So that's how you can control the controllables. So the up and the down will still be there, but obviously it's how you manage it and how you kind of like, some people say like how you surf the wave. How can you try to stay balanced within those ups and downs? So is there any key factor that you can think of as a player, or now that you're starting your journey as a coach, to control the controllables? Is there anything, would you say, for example, consistency or routine? Is there anything that you can think of?
Well, the controllables, we always try to improve, and in training, the things that you can actually do to get better.
Yeah.
Those, of course, you need to analyze every particular situation that you face. When it comes to the things that you cannot control, it's psychological basically, because you need to make sure that your players understand that why are you wasting your time on the things that you cannot control? Why are you wasting your time? I mean, you can't control a referee decision. You can't control if the ball is going to bounce left or right, if it's going to hit the post and go in or hit the post. You can't control if someone's going to miss a penalty. I mean, there's so many different factors that you cannot control that there's no point wasting your time on that. But there's some things that you can control.
Sure.
Be professional. You can always be, at the training ground ready to go with a good positive attitude and ready to improve, ready to listen, ready to prepare for the game or for whatever is coming. And and stop worrying about, other things that there's no point worrying about.
So it's kind of like let go, because if you let go of those things that you cannot control, maybe you can remain focused. Is that kind of like, am I saying something clever now, or am I trying?
And you using your time wisely.
Sure.
Using your time wisely, so you don't actually waste your time on things that you cannot control. Just make sure that you do the time you have, you use it to actually achieve what you want to achieve. Talking to players, I think, is key. I think it's we underestimate sometimes how important it is to talk, to put your arm around someone and say, "What's going on? Are you? How's the family?"
Did you ever feel? Did you ever feel, Julian, as a player? Did you ever feel used, as in, oh wow, I'm just merchandise. I'm just an asset. Instead of, no one is actually coming to me and saying, "Hey Julian, how are you? How is your family? How is Marina? How is little Tiago?" Was that actually sometimes more important than give you a big well done because of last performance?
You feel good when that happens, when that kind of conversation come up. Yeah, obviously we're all different. Some people don't care about it. Maybe some people just they're fine. They don't need that. Some other people maybe did. But again, coming back to the importance of having a manager or a coach or someone within the squad or the team that they can actually pick up those things.
Yeah.
Knowing who you're working with is fundamental. Knowing the people that you're working with, which one of these players needs that? Which one is better to leave him alone? Which ones are the ones that are gonna be, on my side all the time, regardless, and which ones are the ones that easily can, get upset and lose focus and stuff like that. If you can do that, I think it's very important, just stop, worrying about those things that might never happen.
It's funny because we had, I don't know whether you were involved in this conversation, but we had the other day in the training ground a conversation about, loads of coaches, and I include myself at times. We are quite obsessed about the technicalities of football. Let's learn this and that, and how to play this formation and how to play this and how to maximize the IDPs of the players, and whether we use virtual reality for training and which I love, and loads of other things. But then we forget the importance of a simple conversation. We forget how important it is actually to think about the rest of it. I mean, the off the pitch, the human side.
It's easy sometimes to forget about the human being and treat players as robots. They're robots. They train and they do and they go and perform. And sometimes it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not that easy. Not yet. We might have some robots in the future that can play football.
Hopefully not.
But not yet.
But this reminds me. I remember you telling me a story about going into the controllables and control the controllables and how managers pick up on those things to try to help the player. I remember a story you told me about Wembley. But I'll let you explain it. So what happened with Wembley?
Oh yeah, before the playoff final.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Yeah, that was 2014. 14, I think it was. Yeah, the year we got promoted. We beat Watford in the playoff final, and I remember some of us we never played at Wembley before, and there was all this buzz that you feel. Oh, coming to Wembley is such a cathedral of football.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, of course, and I think most of us squad never played there before, and I think it was a great idea by Ian Holloway, who was the manager at the time. He took us the day before the final. He took us to the ground. We went there, and we did.
So you were on a day trip.
Kind of, we were in a hotel. So rather than just stay in our beds, we just jumped on the coach and we went to Wembley, and we just walked around the field, and we were looking at these massive stands, and it might sound silly because then you play in the Premier League and then everything is more natural for you. But at that time, for some of us there, it was a wow. Look where I am.
Yeah.
And I think it was very important that time to go there before the game, not just show up on the day of the final and then have all that feeling in you. but we went there the day before and we got everything, all of that out of the way.
So that kind of that
Took
fear
the
factor,
picture,
that fear factor.
and the unexpected. You know,
Sure.
we're going into a place where we've never been before, and because at the time, well, it wasn't new, but the last final that Palace played,
Yeah.
the last playoff final when Palace got promoted in 2004,
Yes.
that wasn't played there because it was being built.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So they play in Cardiff.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
The Millennium, I think it was.
Yeah. That would
the
have
final.
probably. Yeah. Yeah.
So this was all new, even for the fans. I think it was kind of a new thing. So it felt different. You know, when we actually the next day we went there, that wasn't there anymore. That thinking, oh, what's there? Because we done it the day before, and we only had to focus on playing the game.
On the task, on
On
the task in
the
hand.
focus,
Yeah.
game preparation, game plan, and what we had to do on the pitch. And,
It's just crazy how such a simple thing,
Just a simple thing,
going to Wembley the day before
yeah.
with all the lads
Yeah.
and just take a few pictures. I mean, something like it could even
Yeah.
sound like stupid.
No.
Maybe it was so powerful.
But I'm sure Ian recognized that.
Sure.
He probably looked at the squad and thought, okay, how many of these players can be overwhelmed by being in a situation like this? And he had the idea to do this, and those little details can make a big difference at the end. So
And who knows, maybe that was one of those details that helped you win that game.
and I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Yeah, apart from myself. So.
Listen, I mean, obviously the time is up. I mean, we did say that we were gonna. I mean, and thank you so much for obviously opening your house and everything for us.
It's a pleasure.
I mean, that's brilliant. But I mean, do you have any final message just for for players, for coaches, for football people, for fans, in terms of how to ride the ups and downs of football and life, how to stay balanced? I mean, listening to you,
I think it's hard because obviously at the end of the day it's the business.
Yes.
And of course it's a job for us, and we want to play at the highest level. We want to have good careers, and you're always under pressure to perform, to win, because you have a chairman, the owners, people that invest their money, and they want a return on that, and you're always going to find yourself under pressure. But I would say don't forget why you started playing the game. Why, when you were a kid, and what you wanted to do, and what actually pushed you to play football or to coach or to. What made you fall in love with the game? Don't forget that, and I think you have a much easier journey in football.
Wow.
In my view.
Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, no, nice one. Julian, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for obviously sharing those stories with us. I'm sure that loads of our listeners are going to find it very, very useful. This podcast will be found in our website, myenergygame.net. We also have all the podcasts in Spotify, and we're trying to, and we have also social media, and we are trying to see whether we can help. I mean, the idea of this is just to help, and thank you so much for giving your time for free as well, and sharing those experiences. It's really, really nice. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. No, thank you for being here too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfecto.